At the time of recording this video, did you know that there's a super easy way to edit your Webflow site? For example, as a client who knows nothing about Webflow or code, you'll notice I'm actually in something called the editor mode, or it's now called Webflow Legacy Editor because they're about to retire it. Expected date TBD, which is to be determined, and it's going to be a very sad day because this specific editor mode is one of the reasons why I went into Webflow. So I really hope that Webflow pulls off an even better mode than this, but this is a really cool mode. So in order to get to this specific mode, in our Webflow project, as you can see, there is two ways. One, we can hit the Webflow logo right here, and then we can go ahead and hit Legacy Editor right here. The other way is to do it via the dashboard. So you can see I'm on my Webflow dashboard, and if we want to hit the Legacy Editor, we hit this three-dot icon right here, so we don't have to go into Open in Webflow right here, and we'll go ahead and click Legacy Editor. Keep in mind, you can only access the Legacy Editor if you've published your site in a staging URL at the very least. So you know you've reached the editor mode when there's a Webflow bar at the very bottom, as you can see in my screen. Besides that, it literally looks like your website, which is fantastic, right? So in order to edit content, it's super easy for the client. And there's two different types of content. One is static content. So you can see these are all static content right here. Another content is something called like a component. For example, in the navbar or the footer, you'll notice if I hover my mouse over the navbar, it says that this content is synced between multiple elements. That's because it's using a component. What this means for people absolute beginner is if I was to change about to something else, let's say company, this will automatically change to every single page that I've used this component. So that way you don't have to change it one by one. But lastly, there also has CMS components. You'll notice every single component, CMS or reusable components, is indicated by purple, whereas everything that's not is just indicated by gray, as you can see right here. So let's go ahead and walk through how easy it is to edit your Webflow site and how your clients can do it. So you'll notice in my site, for example, if we want to change the header 1, all we need to do is just put our mouse over the text and just hit this edit button, and we literally just type right into the canvas. So we can be like, this is new text, LOL, like that. And I have a spelling error, obviously. So if I click out of it right here, you'll notice at the bottom right, it says saving. Now it says save to publish changes. So right now, this will actually save it in the Webflow editor mode, and it will also show up in the designer mode, but it won't be published live, obviously. So in order to publish this, we hit publish, and we hit publish to changes. And that's how we push the site live. So in a way, this is a very user-friendly way to edit your site without, having the designer panel and the settings panel on the right and all these CSS classes and your client accidentally clicking a button and breaking everything like WordPress, So this is the safest way. I'm obviously going to go ahead and delete this text because I don't want it. It's going to affect my SEO, guys, and I'm going to make a video on that shortly. But scrolling down, I have a video. I have some logos here. So let's just say, for example, if the UFC gym updates their logo, we can easily just swap out the logo. And you'll notice I've already made a tutorial in the past about image sizing and image aspect ratio. So in my case, if I change this UFC gym logo, it'll be in the exact same, aspect ratio. And that depends on how you've coded your image, obviously. So scrolling down right here, I have two images here. If I want to update it, all I need to do for images is hit this plus icon. It'll go ahead and pull up my desktop computer, and I can go ahead and just change the image. For example, this one right here, and it'll go ahead and change it. Obviously, I don't want to do that, but that's how it's done. And that is how you edit static content. If you want to go ahead and navigate between pages, we can go ahead and hit pages at the very bottom right here. This will load all your pages on your site. As you can see, I have a pretty big site. I have 94 pages, not to boast. But you can see I can jump over to, let's say, my reviews page right here. And in my reviews page, I have both static, as you can see, indicated by this gray box, as well as dynamic, which is a CMS item right here. So in order to edit CMS items, we can't just click into it. We actually have to go into this button right here, collections, and then you'll notice it opens all your CMS collections. So for example, I have a collections on reviews or testimonials. I can go ahead and find that, which is right here, testimonials. Go ahead and click it, and you'll notice this is loading all your CMS items right here. In my case, I have 38 of them, and I can easily just add more and more. So the classic example is if you have a blog post built in the CMS of Webflow, the client can easily go in and add new blog posts in this specific user interface. And you'll notice the main benefit again is that you don't see all these like Webflow UI in the designer view. So works exactly the same premise. If we click into one of them, we can go ahead and see all the CMS fields right here. you'll notice there's like a rich text element, there's a headshot image which you can delete and replace, and you can even save this and publish the CMS items live. So this is really good for the client. You also notice if I go back right here, we can also do a bunch of things. For example, we have this button right here, which we can go ahead and hide the specific states. So it may be a bit too cluttered. I don't want to see the publish or the status, but perhaps I want to see the sort order right here. So this is showing me what I want to see. Another thing is we can go ahead and hit this button select, and this allows us to tick the CMS items we want to select. Of course, we can also select them all right here, and we can go ahead and hit update items, and we can either save them as a draft or unpublish them, or we can even delete all of them. You also notice we can even export the CMS items into a CSV by hitting this button. Super powerful stuff, but I'm going to obviously click cancel. Of course, one of the main benefits is we can add new CMS items. That's as easy as just clicking this green button, and they all follow the exact same premise where we can go ahead and fill in these fields, hit create, and we can go ahead and either hit publish now or queue to publish, which means it's ready for the next time someone actually hits the publish button. So very powerful stuff. And if I just go back to my collections right here, I also have another collections on, let's say, tutorials, Webflow tutorials. You'll notice it follows the exact same premise, except this time I have different fields because I've set it up in the CMS, which I've done a tutorial in the past. So feel free to check that out. One last thing you can do in this specific editor mode is head over to forms right here. And this allows us to see people who have submitted a form submission, and it's all saved in the back end of Webflow as a source of truth. So I don't want to show you everything because it's pretty sensitive, but there's that. Lastly, what you can do with this specific editor mode is you can invite other people in your team in order to edit your website. So in order to do this, we need to head back into the dashboard and we'll hit this three dot icon and we'll go ahead and hit settings. From here, we can go ahead and head over to site access. And then in site access, where it says legacy editor access, we can go ahead and add new members to edit the site. And whenever you add a new member, they'll get an email notification saying, hey, Derek has invited you to edit the Webflow site. Click this link. And once you click the link, you'll be then prompted to create an account. And then once you sign in, you can go ahead and edit the site. Super cool and powerful stuff. You'll also be able to white label the specific editor mode. So you'll notice when you're in the editor mode, right here it says Webflow, but it's possible to change that logo to be very bespoke. So I really, really love the editor. I wanted to make this video for a long time. Actually, for every single one of my client project, when I create a website, I'll send them a tutorial similar to this, but except it'll be showing their actual website and I'll be explaining the editor mode. Like, hey, you can easily edit your site by just clicking into the canvas. And if you want to add a new blog post, you just go into the collections of the blog post. And they're always mind blown. So this is one of the main reasons why I love Webflow so much. And the main reason was, for anyone who's interested, I used to use WordPress. My agency in the past where I used to work for them, they use WordPress, and WordPress is very, very difficult to edit as a client. Like you have to log into the dashboard. There's all these plugins, and sometimes it's different like editing mode, like Elementor, and sometimes it's like Divi or something. So when I saw this was a game changer. So really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's really sad to see that editor is going to be retired, but I have faith that Webflow is going to make it even better experience, perhaps using the build mode inside the designer. But nevertheless, if you enjoyed this video, please check out more of my tutorials. I make many of them on my YouTube channel. You can browse them right here. I also have a paid Webflow course. If you want to accelerate your learning of Webflow, it's perfect if you're a beginner or even someone who's intermediate looking to sharpen their Webflow skill. My name is Derek Su. I'm a Sydney-based web designer and Webflow developer, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Also, give this video a like, please. Thank you so much, and a comment. That helps me a lot.